recording started. Cool. All my PC needs to do is survive for the next hour, and then it can have a sleep, and then it goes to the doctors tomorrow, and then all will be fine. It just needs to do an hour. That's all I need from it. That's all I need.
Yeah, you know what happens. We've all said, "Oh, we only need to not roll a 1." So now you jinxed it, Chris.
I have jinxed it, haven't I? Oh dear. Oh well.
You've been saying it for a while.
It's been on its last legs for a while. This is its last job before, hopefully. I mean, I know, like, I opened it up the other day and it does have like spider webs on the inside, which can't be good for a tower PC, but
I'm gonna say that's not great, Chris.
I think that's probably not great. But
how old is it?
4 years. But since last summer up until January, it was when I was outside in what was the pub that became the office that is now the pub again. So yeah, that's when it kind of suffered. But
yeah,
never mind. We're all here.
Yes.
5 of us.
Welcome, listeners to Therapy for Chris. Today's topic: Chris needs Chris time.
And if any listener could just like alert us if there is somebody in the back of Scott's airport shot, just staring at the camera. That you did just have someone in shot, and I was waiting for them to look this way, and I was just gonna wave.
Do you want me to see if I can get some? Do you want me to see if I can get someone to join us then?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that.
Say hello. We're 5 gentlemen. Would you like to be our friend and play with us with our dice?
No.
As long as you don't pat on your lap at the same time, you'll be fine.
To be fair, we can't see what's waist down, so I don't know what he's doing.
I can't wait to rewatch this from the comfort of the seats in the courtroom as Scott's in the box game, having been held by airport security.
Well, yeah, if you're wanting a pat down, we can definitely arrange that.
I'll just say my name is Welsh Tom Feeks, and they'll know exactly what's all about. Anyway,
passports then, are you?
At least, should we play the intro?
Sure. Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Dice Please, the bite-sized Blood Bowl podcast brought to you by the people at Blood Bowl Live. My name is Chris. Joining me this week, Mr. Scott Bryan. Scott, what is your favourite day of the week?
Evening, Chris. Favourite day of the week? Friday.
Also
do I have to say why? Or...
No, you don't have to say why. You can. Is there a particular reason Friday other than being the end of the working week?
First beer at the end of the working week.
It's the picking block first equivalent of days of the week, isn't it? Going for Friday.
Yeah.
Joining us also, Mr. Tom Hovell. Tom, favourite day of the week?
Thursday, because it's the new Friday.
Sure. Okay.
What? That's the first day you have your beer of the week.
I'm drinking now, and we're recording on a Monday.
I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Tom, go back into an office. Joining us as well, Mr. Tom Feeks. Tom, favourite day of the week?
I think I'm going to go with the Tuesday because that's normally our league night.
Very nice. Well,
so
I feel like you
be where I'm going to be playing Blood Bowl.
You may have possibly stolen then the answer from our guest in the
purple
box.
Sorry.
Our guest in the purple box. Well, this week we are obviously, there's 5 of us on here, so we're doing a hot takes episode, and the hot takes coming this week are coming from a man of many, many talents, a man who founded NOBBL up in Nottingham, the TO of 40 plus tournaments to his name, but I think you will all know him best by the fact that he is the highest NAF ranked Goblin Dungeon Bowl player as of recording. We are simply in the presence of royalty. Joining us this week, the one and only Mr. Alistair Pring. Alistair, thank you so much for being with us. What is your favourite day of the week?
Thank you. Yeah, Tom, you stole it. I will therefore say Saturday, because you wake up with nothing ahead of you in terms of work. Friday, you've still got to work. Saturday, it's all yours, baby. So Saturday it is.
See, I was no one else has gone for a weekend. Surely, like I would also go for short of going for a bank holiday Friday, I will go for a Saturday. Absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, I normally have the kids, so and obviously they don't listen to the podcast, so I can say a day without them is better.
Do you want me to beep that again? Would you like me to? Never mind.
I don't
We're not here to talk about Tom Feeks' irritation with his children. No. Instead, this week, like I said, we're doing hot takes, and Alistair is here to bring us 3 of his hot takes, and we will discuss them, see whether he is absolutely onto something or whether he is barking up the wrong tree man figure. But we will see what they are. Alistair, I will hand over to you. What is your hot take number 1?
Thank you. Hot take number 1. So some people that know me will know that I've got a real obsession for Bloodbowl lore or fluff or background story. It was the thing that first captured my imagination as a mid-teenager back in 1988 when 2nd edition came out. So the story's got to be right. Whatever you do in Bloodbowl, it's got to meet the fluff. And there's one team that doesn't. So therefore, that one team needs a complete rewrite because it's wrong. And I'm talking about Elf Union.
Oh, thank God.
So Elf Union. Okay. According to the fluff, Elf Union teams were formed by elves who were tired and sick of the way that the game had developed. It wasn't meant to be about scandals and commercial interests and all the terrible side of fantasy capitalism. Instead, it was meant to be about something more pure. So they formed Elf Union teams, and it was a banding together of high elves, dark elves, and wood elves. The team that we've got right now is not a high elf. There's no wood elves in it. There's no dark elves. It's just a nonsense. And I know kind of where it comes from, but that's irrelevant. According to the lore, it's high elves, dark elves, and wood elves. So my hot take number 1 is that Elf Union is nonsense. You need to throw them out and start them again and actually have high elves, dark elves, and wood elves in it.
I love a hot take that is based on kind of the narrative because all my teams have a narrative to them, and I really like this one because my Elven Union team, my opinion of Elven Union has been absolutely against what the narrative should be. I have always pictured them as like the breakaway elves that like my team have a commercial background, like have broken away for the high-paying commercial fees that are paid in other ones. It's completely different to clearly what the narrative kind of should be. And it also, you're right. They're all like they're new elves. Like there's no why are the linemen not wood elves? Why is there not a kind of old world alliance dumbed down war dancer in there? Why is there not? Why have they not plucked from other? Why are they unique in themselves? Because they are unique, they are kind of different and the most moldable. So this absolutely makes sense.
Where is the animosity?
Where is the animosity?
Yeah, exactly.
Now that's exactly what I was going to come on to at some point. So if you're going to have dark elves and wood elves and high elves working together, they absolutely should have animosity because they're working together. They don't like each other. So yes, 100%. Elves with animosity. It won't be popular, but thematically, absolutely, it should be in there.
Yeah, definitely. And also, you should have my ball on the war dancer because they want to take the glory.
Glory.
They want to take the glory. They do. They are glory hunters.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. I really like that. I suppose I'd never really thought about it in terms of the lore, but that does make complete sense. And even just having a quick flick through on tour play, like Chris, you said about the Old World Alliance, they're even advertised as human lineman, dwarf blocker, halfling hopeful. You could simply change the names a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a small tweak. It just references it, and then that animosity. I think you'd probably potentially have to give them a little bit of a buff somewhere else if you put in the animosity, but maybe put up a couple of their armor. But like if you're introducing the high elves and dark elves, put a couple of them up to AV9 maybe. But
well, I think it depends, doesn't it? Because depending on how you want to do it, your linemen don't have to be one race, because they're not on shambling undead. You've got zombies and skeletons. If you look at Underworld denizens, you've got Skaven linemen and Goblin linemen. So in a true Union team, why can't you have some linemen from all three races?
it's true.
I think this makes sense, and because we've talked about what would an undead alliance look like and how would that team work, and I think we came to the conclusion that it is pointless, but like an elven kind of an elf equivalent, like what does the elf team look like? And narratively they've already got it there with Union, but then Union isn't it. So here's my question then is, within the elf team, you've got your positionals as your throwers, you've got your blitzers, who I absolutely love, and you've got your catchers. So if you were turning this, if you were keeping the same positionals, if you were keeping a throwing positional, a blitzing positional, and a catching positional, and let's say that you can only take one positional from each of the other elf teams that are out there, who would you bring into this team? Who would you swap out and replace? Would you bring in a witch elf or a war dancer? Who has the best thrower outside? Because I really like the dark elf runners. I think are really good fun. I love dump off on them. So would you replace your passer with a thrower? Like, which ones would you want to take?
Are you asking if I was building a team or building the roster for other people?
Building the roster for other people. So building that template, that kind of 2-2-2 template.
Yeah, which is exactly what I was going to say. So I'd stick to the current GW kind of format that they seem to be doing of the 2-2-2. But I think I would take a nod out of, say, the Chaos Chosen approach or the Renegades, where with the big guys on those teams, you have a wider choice than the number you can take. There are 4 big guys on Renegades. You only allow 3 of them. So perhaps with the Blitzer position, I would you get 3 choices: a War Dancer, a High Elf Blitzer, or I guess a Dark Elf Blitzer is the same. So maybe dump the Dark Elf Blitzer and then put in the Witch Elf in that position. So you get to pick 2 of those 3, and then likewise with the thrower, a Wood Elf thrower, a High Elf thrower, or a Dark Elf runner. Again, you get to pick 2 of those 3. So then no 2 Elf Union teams would be exactly the same, because depending on who you are and your play style, you may opt in one of several directions. I mean, everyone's going to take a War Dancer, but a War Dancer and who would be the question, I guess.
I think that's a good idea.
The High Elf Blitzer and the Dark Elf Blitzer are exactly the same stats, just for clarification on that side of things. But yeah, because equally, would you take an assassin as well?
Oh yeah, where does the assassin fit in? Do they fit in as like your equivalent to your kind of your Wood Elf catcher? Would the assassin be in there, or would you just allow as a bonus position the one assassin, because the assassin is a little bit different? Just allow maybe one on the roster.
Would you say, because you don't have? Oh, because I was just about to say you don't have a big guy, but you do with the tree men, wouldn't you? So would you say actually an assassin?
Who's taking a tree man in this team?
That'd be insane.
Who's doing it? Who is that madman taking the tree man in this iteration of elves?
As
if by magic,
Scott Bryant reappears on the podcast.
A young lady from security came around with some gloves, suggesting that I might need some sort of cavity inspection. I said no. I said I checked that. I said the people were around with the wall insulation last year, so I don't know what she meant. Anyway, did I miss anything exciting?
Well, here's the question for you, Scott, before we move on to the next hot take. Imagine that elves, that the Elven Union team is replaced with a Chaos Renegade style team where for your blitzer you can pick between two of a high elf blitzer, a war dancer, or a witch elf, and that kind of thing. Would you want the tree man available in that team as an option?
First of all, I love the idea of having a sort of a renegade chaos elves. I think that fits better with the lore than with the current union incarnation. Love that. I don't think they should have a big guy. I don't think they need a tree at all. I wouldn't even bother with it. I don't think you need a tree. I think have animosity, yeah, but having the big guy, whichever type of tree you want to shout in there. No, I would say no tree. That would be my thing. Controversial as you might think it, no tree.
That does surprise me coming from you, but I'd say yes to the tree. I would never take it, but I think given the other ones, I think having it there as an option.
You want other people to take it and make that mistake to make it easier to play them.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Basically, yes.
You saw right through me.
Thematically, Feats, what I would say is I wouldn't have the tree, but I would have a more sort of chaos renegade-esque, whether it be something like, not a rat ogre, but maybe like a minotaur, something like that, something within the lore which would go in with that. Who would be an optimal big guy? I think that would be quite cool. Anyway,
I mean, I guess you could throw in something like a Zote, because Zotes are also fairly mystical and they come from the forests and all the rest of it.
True.
And they're not, because you've only got the one Zote at the moment, haven't you? Who's the star player? I can't remember their name.
Yeah.
And I think there's an opportunity to bring those more into the game, and again fits in with the lore. So yeah, I'd be sold with a Zote.
Yeah. Alistair, amazing first take there. I really like that one. All my teams have a narrative, so I like the idea of forcing some of these teams to stick to their narrative a bit more. I think is great. Let's move on. What is your hot take number 2?
Hot take number 2. I guess it's kind of also based a little bit in narrative and the wider game. And hot take number 2 is it sometimes it feels like we only play half a game. If you think about modern sports teams, there's the team on the pitch, that are scoring goals or scoring tries, and that's fantastic. But actually, there's a lot more to the team than what you see on the pitch. Behind the scenes, you've got reams and reams of trainers, you've got scouts, you've got physios, you've got marketing, and all those things. So it always feels like there's kind of a missed opportunity not to do more with the backroom staff. Yes, there's cheerleaders. Yes, there's coaches. But they don't do much. They have even less influence on the game now than they used to have, because cheerleaders now just give you a prayers to Nuffle if you're lucky, and nobody cares about a prayers to Nuffle. So it feels like we could do a lot more with the backroom staff that we've got, and then perhaps add some more in to play a wider, more complete game. So you're not just managing your team, but you're managing a whole franchise. So I would
love this so much.
I would do things like keeping with the existing backroom staff. So cheerleaders, I would give them a skill. And once per drive, they can either cheer or jeer. So if you cheer, you pick one of your players, and that player gains pro for that drive. If you jeer, you pick one of the opposition players, and that player gets Loner 3+ for that drive. And then cheerleaders can then compete. So if your opponent jeers for who you cheer, depending on who's got the most cheerleaders, actually one can out-volume the other one. So I would do that. For coaching, I would do some post-game coaching. So you can have light or intensive training. So you can pick a player, and if you do light training, they get 1 SPP in between games for nothing. That's fine. If you do intensive training, they get to make an armor roll. And if that fails, they get a casualty roll. So in theory, they could die, but then they get D3 SPP in between training. So it's a risk-based approach. Do you go easy and guaranteed 1 SPP, which is quite useful just for tip people over into having enough for a skill up, or do you gamble on D3 SVP? And there's other things you could do, but obviously I'll throw it over to you guys.
Oh, Blood Bowl Manager. I would
Yes.
I would play the hell out of Blood Bowl Manager.
Yes.
I feel like you need to turn your camera off and just have a minute to yourself.
I need to
Chris.
calm down.
Like
I
your
need to
desk
calm
is
down right
rising.
now.
People on the audio will be like a bit concerned by those noises. You went down a few octaves.
I did. I was gone. I'm in love. I think this is. I like this idea because again, it leans into. It does kind of lean a bit into the narrative, and it gives. Because you're right. The cheerleaders. I don't think even within leagues. I know many people, if anyone, who kind of take them. I know one coach who is leaning into them for a narrative reason. I think there was a season where I bought maximum number of cheerleaders after my last game in order to win the most valued team. I think other than that, I don't think I would ever do it. But giving them almost like it kind of gives them the role of almost a permanent inducement within the team, which I think is quite good. And then doing more to that, like I guess you kind of start to build on things like like if you have home stadiums and sponsors and stuff that there are rules for, but having like a brand and merchandise person who could get you an extra 10k for your winnings or something from merch sales, I think it's great. I absolutely love it. I will not be sold that this is a bad idea, so I'm going to have to shut up and let somebody else, tell me what they think. Tom Hovell, let's go to you.
I do like it because I can see there's a lot of things like the inducements that you could bring in as extra things. So, for example, Orcs have the War Drummer. I always think that should be something that they should just be able to have as a standard, because, like you say, it's their team, it's the supporters coming along and raising a racket kind of thing.
The mascots as well. The mascots would make so much sense that you can just buy the mascot. It's going to add to your team value for your season, so it's not coming completely at nothing. But it makes sense that your team's got a mascot, and it's only on a 5-up that it gets you the reroll.
Yeah. The only thing, and just for balance, shall we say?
This isn't the BBC, Tom. Come on.
is could it then get too complicated? So you're playing in a league, and there's different people go for different reasons to play a league. And if you try and then make it too complicated, then will you start deterring people from coming along and playing? Because there's people who just want to turn up, have a game, and then leave, and let tour play do all the extra bits and bobs, really. But I'm all for it. I'd love to have a really thematic kind of league. Lots of we've done it in the past where we've done almost like articles on after the match interviews and stuff like that, where we put it in. So yeah, I'd be up for that.
What about you, Mr. Feeks?
I'm very similar to Tom. I really like the idea of it. I would absolutely be up for it. My only thing with it is very similar to what Tom's just said. Is I don't know how many BB players it would reach, because I feel like there would be two sides to it. You either love it or you hate it and want to go back to the original version because it's just too much. But I think there would be no reason why you couldn't do, say, some leagues that do all of that and some leagues that don't.
I guess it's the same with like stadiums and sponsors, isn't it? Like we don't do stadiums or sponsors in the ADBBL. I know someone who plays in the DBL who every now and again they do maybe short leagues where sponsors are a thing, and they have kind of thematic sponsors or thematic rule sets that they use just for that kind of mini run outside of the main competition. So I think it's kind of like those things where there could be an optional space for it that would be relatively easy to kind of incorporate into your league.
I agree. I think my only other thing with it is would you then change the costings associated with cheerleaders? Because if you're talking 10k per cheerleader, would you have to put it up and then thinking about the training sessions in between, would you have to pay for those training sessions out of your treasury?
I think
Or would
what
they
you should
just
do
happen?
is have them as 10k at the start of the league, and then afterwards, a bit like re-rolls, they double. So if you want to buy them later on, they go up to maybe 20k or 40k or something like that.
That's good. I like it.
Mr. Bryant?
Yeah.
Get out.
That's the end of it.
Kick him out.
Topic number 3 then, please.
I'm not thinking this is the self-indulgent sort of like porn of Blood Bowl that you seem to think it is, Mr. Chris. I don't really need to have to go and lie down with a junior aspirin in a dark room to recompose myself. As an expansion for something like Blood Bowl 3 expansion to be like Blood Bowl Manager, brilliant. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic. I think if people want to have that opportunity to cherry pick it, yes. And I know we've talked about having like a D&D style campaign within a Blood Bowl world. You know, if people want that option to be similar, something like the like Crusade within the 40k world, like a narrative thematic campaign, great, go for it, enjoy it. However, realistically, how much of that is going to be used? Look at how many books, and you know, Blood Bowl is probably the smallest in terms of the amount of literature available in terms of rule set books available to it. You know, if people want to use it, but you think about what people have already got, stadiums, you just mentioned, how many people actually use that? The minority by exception, not the norm. So if you wanted to expand that universe and make it available for people, go for it. And I think it'd be a fabulous expansion for Blood Bowl 3, especially on PC, you know, whatever other platform. In the real time, in terms of an actual day-to-day league, yeah. I wouldn't rush to join a league just because it had that particular set of narratives or anything. You know, wouldn't worry about it. I know you would, Chris.
I would be right in there.
I know you would, and I suspect it would destroy your life, your marriage, everything,
so.
Chris, for the sake of Blood Bowl. I know it would. So I'm looking at this as trying to keep you away from the abyss.
There's a great video of a guy who he's got a sponsor background behind him. He's wearing a full suit and he's doing a post-match manager's interview, and halfway through the video you just hear a voice go, "What are you doing?" And the camera turns and he's in his kitchen on his own doing a post-game interview because he's the manager on Football Manager, and his wife's just like, "We've talked about this, you've got to stop." I'm not far from that.
I can see Emily doing that.
Yeah. There was one. So Alistair, there was one thing that when you were kind of leading up to this one, you talked about kind of all the other things that make a sports season of some kind and all the other things that go into it and stuff. Something it's kind of in a diluted form. I guess it exists within the game, but I wonder whether could you expand this to a place where you could do like transfers of some kind, where you could buy a player who maybe already has a skill, or you could buy a player from someone else's team, or trade players. You know, if you had two rosters that were, let's say, 2 human rosters, and one person randomized dodge and one person randomized block, and the way that they play, they wanted to basically trade. Do you think that you could extend it that far to even take it a step further?
You could. I mean, I think that makes it more complicated, because then what do you do about it? Do you stick to team building rules or not? Or is suddenly my dwarf team going to go and hire that war dancer because we have loads of money and therefore we're going to tempt him away from your team? So I think it depends how you want to do it, and therefore you need enough teams. I used to play in a league, and actually calling it a league is far too grandiose a term, because this was when I first rediscovered Blood Bowl, and but hadn't tapped into a wider community. So this league was 2 of us playing 4 teams each. But what we used to do was any player who got released, through injury or what have you, we kept just a big log of everybody, and then you could go and hire those players. If you had a team in a later season who could hire human linemen. And if there was a human lineman who was, I don't know, armor bust or something, you could hire him cheaply. So it was quite a good way of filling out your roster with pre-injured players if you if you were running short later on in the season. So that worked really well, because then it really did give some players a lot of history, because they literally moved from team to team, picking up experience, but injuries here and there.
Proper journeyman.
Yeah. So that was fun. But trying to do that in a 24, 30, 40 coach league would be impossible. It would need to be a very small, compact group of people who were doing it. So, yeah, the more Scott's right. The more complicated that you make any of this stuff, it's not going to really work on the bigger scale. So it's more about having that small, avid, close-knit group, and then you can do all kinds of fun, funky things.
Can we just soundbite that, please? Alistair did say Scott is right. Thanks. Just soundbite that for me.
Well, you're just going to have it on repeat, so have it playing subtly and quietly in your background overnight. So
I'll make it my text alert.
Please do. And if you bleep or edit that out, Chris, yeah.
I'm really. Oh, now I'm tempted to. Let's see if the PC lasts long enough to put a beep over that. Very much enjoyed hot take number 2. Let's go on to hot take number 3. Alistair, what is hot take number 3?
Thank you. Okay, so hot take number 3 is really all about my thought process if I'm running tournaments, but actually I think it applies to leagues. It kind of applies as well to your own coaching, and that is, it's not about the winning, and it certainly isn't about the winners. So from a tournament perspective, for me, I don't care who wins. I don't care who the winners are. I'm not interested in those people. At any tournament, the heroes aren't the people that finish in the top 8. They're the people who finish with an 0-1-2 record, who are 28th out of 30, but have a good time and then come back and then keep on coming back. They're the people that I genuinely care about. The people that are on top of a tournament, well, they're kind of self-motivated because they always win. And therefore that success is easy to kind of stay motivated and to keep coming back for more and more and more. But it's the people in the middle, it's the people on the bottom that matter. So therefore, as a TO, for instance, this has all kinds of impacts, therefore. So with my money, if I'm running a tournament, I do a very small cursory amount on prizes, because, again, those guys win tournaments all the time. They don't want loads more stuff. They've already got loads more stuff, and they will continue winning loads more stuff. For me, it's all the money goes into swag, because I want everybody to leave with something cool. And it's not just that, though. It's also about the theme of the tournament. I run very thematic events, so they all have a story. They all have something in particular, an angle. So it could be, I've done some where it's all about magic and the colleges of magic. I've done some based on Phileas Fogg, who was a Slan going around the world, so that was around the world in 80 plays. So every part of the room was a different bit of the old world and played to different rules on each table. So it's all about having a story. So then it doesn't matter what the result is if you can create something to talk about. So when that coach says, "Oh, that was mad because X, Y, and Z," and you don't have to talk about who won. It's talking about the game or the madness of the game. So for me, my hot take number 3 is, it's not about the winning. It's not about the winners. It's about everything else. It's about keeping the people happy who aren't the winners, but who are the best people there because they keep on coming back time and time and time again to lose over and over again. They're the heroes, and that's the people that I think of when I'm writing a tournament.
You hear that, Brett and Steve? If you're listening, our commissioner doesn't care about you. There you go. You don't matter.
No, but honestly, it's true, because even in a league setting, the people at the top. So within our league, we have playoffs at the end, and we have gold, silver, and bronze bracket. Depending on where you finish, you either enter the gold, silver, and bronze. Again, to be blunt, I really don't care about the guys in gold. I mean, whoever wins, and that's great. But actually, I'm way more focused on silver and bronze. And the people that win silver and bronze, so the people that have had an average season, or the people that have had really not a great one, they are going to get something that is just as good as the people that win the whole league, because they matter as well.
Yeah, completely agree.
I think this is brilliant. This is very well said. We've had it like it's the third. Like, I'm thinking of kind of other hot takes we've had where people have kind of had similar sentiments. So we had Stewbacker on championing the fact that goblins are the best team in the game because they are the most fun, and that should be why you're playing, rather than kind of focusing more on meta and playing to win. And we had Dave on talking about a kind of Blood Bowl story mode where you could have objectives that aren't just winning the game as you normally would. You could get your victory because you fouled 10 times, or you could kind of do things a different way and look at what winning is differently.
Yeah.
And this is just kind of a good summary of that, of just, when you're doing tournaments and you're doing leagues and stuff, it should be enjoyable. You should enjoy it and want to come back for more just as much, even if wherever you've come, rather than just because you won and you want to come and defend your title. If you've had a great fun season with some great interesting games, but you've ultimately come bottom of your group, who cares? Like, as long as you've enjoyed it. It's such a kind of important sentiment. So this is just sensible advice. Mr. Bryan, your thoughts?
I love it. I'll buy 2, and I commend it to the house. I think we talk about this week in, week out in terms of the podcast, the spirit, the ethos. It's about why people play this game. It's not all about the winning. It's about the community, and that is a big thing. And that's the reason I play this game. And it gives me an excuse to get out of the house, spend money, and then go to the pub. But that's a bonus. But it's about the community, the support. So I'm sold. I'll take 3. Actually, go for it.
Mr. Hovell?
Yeah, I'm in agreement as well. It's interesting you say about because again we've just come back from a couple of tournaments recently, and it is nice, at the end you all get together and you have a kind of a round of applause and stuff like that. In the latest one, the Carrot Crunch, that we have a particular award that they give out to, it was the best Suffolk player or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah. But that'd be nice to have some more different kind of awards. Maybe even like the Players Player Award, where actually goes out to the people who have joined the tournament to vote on who they think who should win it and why, that kind of thing, which really then helps it. Because as you quite rightly say, I've never even come close to winning a tournament, but I just go because I love meeting new people, learning about how other people play the game, even just looking at some of the fantastic paintwork on some of these players. I sit there with my team and go, are you sure I'm okay to touch that one? I'm really to knock that one down, because some of them are fantastic. And that doesn't get the same limelight as people like you say are trying to do meta chasing the numbers on NAF.
But you're absolutely right. So Blood Bowl is built on the back of people like you. Blood Bowl is not, and I don't mean to disparage these guys at all. Blood Bowl is not Andy Davo. Blood Bowl is not Purple Goo. Blood Bowl is not K-Vote. It's people like you. It's great having stars and the in-game celebrities, and it's fantastic. But actually, Blood Bowl's a community thing, and it needs you way more than it needs those other guys. And I'm not putting those other guys down, but it does. And I think as well, the same kind of mindset, you can sometimes you sometimes need to apply it not just to your community, not just being a TO or a commissioner, but to your own games. The worst thing, and this is going to sound like a humble brag, and I don't mean to at all. The worst thing I ever did was win the very first tournament I entered, because then I put myself under pressure to then keep on doing that. And as tournaments went on, yeah, I won one or two here and there, but not loads. And as time went on, I felt that pressure more and more and more. And I stopped enjoying the game because I'd lost why I was playing it. So again, this whole thing about why I run events, I kind of try and think about it and apply it to myself and my own coaching, which is it's not about winning. For me, it really isn't, which is why I think I may have mentioned before that I used to be on the Team England committee, and good luck to those guys and all power to them. But Team England committee or Team England is about winning, and I don't say that in any bad way at all. It's what they're there for, because at the elite end of the game, Eurobowl is about bringing home the goods. But I then came to the conclusion that my mindset was changing, and therefore that wasn't the place for me. And again, there's nothing wrong with the guys there. It's just I'd moved to a different place, I suppose, which is why I stood down.
None of us made the mistake of winning our first tournament. We've tried our hardest to win as few tournaments as possible. Scott Bryant's got one win. I think between us, we try our best.
Hey, I've got a nice selection of spoons. I'll have you know. I'm probably don't want to brag like others, but I've probably got 6 wooden spoons. Anyone beat me on 6?
Tom's only a few tournaments away from starting his own Great British Bake Off. That's the grand aim. Mr. Feeks, your thoughts?
I honestly, I couldn't agree more, and I know I took the piss a little bit with saying about Brett and Steve and the winners in our league. It was an open goal. I couldn't avoid doing it. But no, I completely agree. And then just looking back from my own experiences, tournaments that I've been to, my best result was 9th out of 40th, which was at Chris Abashik Sanctuary earlier on this year. And it's not like I was really happy coming 9th out of 40th. Didn't come away with any silverware, but I was like, hey, that's my best finish. Yeah, that I'm really happy with that. But I don't really remember the 2 wins that I got. What I remember is the incredibly tense draw that I had at the start, the 2-all draw, which was just incredibly tense. And I remember that because there was more drama in that than there was in the rest of it. And I enjoyed that one more than the games that I won.
Yeah.
And it's the same with the leagues as well. And I know it's the philosophy that you set up NOBBL with, and it works really well. I've been in other leagues where there is a win-all mentality, and that's just not for me. Because I'm like, well, I don't want to go up against people who are there. You have the matches against some people who are either I'm going to do everything I can to grind you into the dirt and you have a horrible time because you're like, well, this just isn't fun. Or you have a game where your opponent checks out because you've had 1 turn of excellent dice. You're like, well, what's the point in either of us being out here now? I'm going to win because you've checked out. It's now not a contest. So what's the point?
Bloodbowl, it's a bit like the proverbial fisherman, who gets home and he talks about the one that got away. Oh, it was this big. And actually, Bloodbowl's exactly the same. You talk afterwards about those moments of agony or glory, but it's not always about the result. It's about those little moments that give you the stories, and then you'll bore the bejesus out of your friends, for the next 12 months talking about those stories. But that's okay because it gives you something to hold on to.
You hear that, Phil? It's not about the winning.
Oh dear. 3 incredible hot takes there. Really enjoyed those. And now it is time, and Alistair, I will apologise in advance to put you under the pressure of Mr. Bryant and his quickfire questions. Scott, over to you.
Thank you very much, Christopher. Mr. Alistair Pring, hope you are ready. So this is the part of the podcast that people love to hate and they hate to love. This is a totally subjective non-quantitative data related understanding to get an insight into you as a Blood Bowl coach. Are you one of those guys? Or are you just that guy? So it'll be 30 seconds, 10 questions against the clock. Then when we finish, we hear the bleeps, it'll go across to the arbitrator of doom, Mr. Chris Coe, our ethics committee lead, and he will give us some sort of random number. And then, we'll see how you fare against all of the other people who have taken on this mythical challenge. So
just to prepare you, Alistair, as well, it's never 30 seconds.
No.
Time is a relative concept, Christopher. I think you'll find that. Okay, let's get 30 seconds on the clock and let's go now. Mr. Alistair Pring, question number 1, block or dodge?
Block.
Question number 2, pogo or loony?
Loony.
Question number 3, sexiest Blood Bowl model sculpt is?
Ooh, oh my God, I've got a name. The wood elf thrower with the swing of hair.
Gloria Summerbloom, that's the girl. Question number 4, favorite stunty to kill, halfling or gnome?
Oh, a gnome.
Okay, question number 5, favorite tournament attended?
It's really boring, but the World Cup, because it's the World Cup.
Question number 6, least favorite Blood Bowl model to build is?
Again, really boring, but it's not in Pump Wagon. Oh my God.
Okay, question number 7, Juggernaut or Brawler?
Juggernaut.
Tier 1 players, question number 8, sorry, Tier 1 players, cowards or just carrying others' envy?
Cowards.
Question number 9, you're a gnome base master, stroke my badger, touch my goose.
Oh, for God's sake.
It's goose all the way, baby.
Question number 10, start us off. Question number 10, what's a more romantic gesture to give? New Blood Bowl dice or a new star player?
It's got to be dice, because dice hold possibility.
Beautiful.
You see why I get scared, Alistair. You see why every time it worries me.
Oh, I can't wait to get a romantic present from you now, Alistair. Your dice holding possibility. I love that.
So let's go over then to the ethics committee lead, the man who has all of the arbitrary scores. This is the man who basically decides destinies of empires. Mr. Christopher Coe, what's the scores on the doors, please?
It is 7.5.
7.5.
7.5.
So,
well, to just
is
let
that good?
You know, well, that's what they all ask, really, isn't it?
I believe I got 4 because I think I got -4. I got given a question where I could get either 1 point or -4, and I was given -4 points. And that's the only time I haven't judged it.
Remember, it's not about the winning.
I can say out of a grand total league of 8 so far, Mr. Alistair Pring, you are in 4th place. Congratulations, sir. If you would like a copy of your answers, which were correct, which were incorrect, and reasons why, if you want to drop us an email, you know the address by now. We will, in due course, maybe not even reply to you. You've been that important. Keep Blood Bowling.
I was about to complain, but then I had to remind myself, it's not about the winning. It's not about the winning.
Well played.
Well played. You're falling into your own trap.
Oh.
Alistair, some great takes there. I think some really good, some just very sensible, and also some absolutely takes that are right in my kind of style and reasons for playing. If you are listening to this and you have any opinions on Alistair's takes, or you have a take of your own, Mr. Scott Bryant, how can people get in touch with us?
Mr. Chris Coe, if people want to get in touch with us, they can email us to talk about all the hot takes they've heard from Alistair, any other hot takes they want, and to give Chris advice in terms of calming down since the last time he was this fizzy was, I believe, at the local beer festival. So if you want to get hold of us, it's New Dice Please, uppercase, lowercase, mixed case. Watch out for Comic Sans, but it's newdiceplease@gmail.com. And Mr. Tom Hovell, if people can't get enough and they want that little bit more when they know they shouldn't, how do they get hold of us?
Yeah. So for the kids out there, they can get us on the socials rather than boring old email. You know, we can get us on Blue Sky and also Instagram under New Dice Please. You can see as well as hear us on YouTube under Bloodbowl Live. And obviously, we are on all the major podcasts under New Dice Please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bryant. Thank you very much, Mr. Hovell. Thank you, Mr. Feeks. Thank you very much, Alistair. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We have been New Dice Please, and we'll see you next time.